Hey guys, and welcome to the next episode of this series. I haven't bothered with a camera this one because I'm feeling rough. I've been on bed all week with a fever and flu, but anyway, we shall not let that interfere with this going through this tutorial. So we went over a lot of these points here. Hopefully you guys have a chance to do some of it. In this video I wanted to talk about how to debug some of the issues, and probably some of the main issues you'll find with this tutorial is getting some of these random strings wrong, and it's quite easy to do that actually. So in this part of the tutorial down here, create a cognito identity pool, we have some large policy files that we create. So this policy file here is a policy file that is for the role that when you log in the application. So this is when you log in, you get these credentials, right? So for example, if you test the API, so you go like all this stuff here. Let's just clear this and do it again. So this is all the credentials that are used, and the application AWS gives you. And if you get any one of these things wrong, then you're going to have problems. And sometimes it's kind of hard to find where the problem is. So if everything works, then this should happen. Basically, you authenticate, you get your credentials, the temporary cognito credentials, and then we make this API request. And if everything goes fine, then we're all happy. Now, if you have something wrong in, say, the bucket name here, or like the API regions, stuff like that, then it's going to be big issues, right? So you need to get so many things right, but this will just help you discover some of the problems, right? So what I recommend you do is you go to the policy simulator and you test the various roles and things like that against real assets, right? So you can basically pick anything you want from your policy. So we have this policy file here that we're going to look at. So the neat thing about this policy simulator is that it can sort of pull up all your existing items, So like you can pick users, groups, and roles. And what we want to look at is our cognito authenticated role. So let's just click on this one, and what it will give us is this big large policy file. So what I want to do is I want to test that this role has access to S3. So what you can do is you can go to find S3, right, and then we can pick, say, different actions. So let's just select all, right? In fact, let's not. So what you can do is once you pick S3, you can then select an action against a particular ARN. So let's just test one of the actions that you do using the app. So this one here. So if we go in here, then we can say this is the object, the S3 bucket. So if we say everything and we want to test this policy, we can click run simulation, and it's not going to work, right? So what we can do then is we can actually, if we go to take the ARN of this, right, like this, and we copy this in, now we're testing if we have right access against the whole bucket here, right? So let's just run this. Okay, and it also fails. This is because it only runs against things in the bucket that have this particular string path for when we're logged in. In this case, we're just going to fudge this by just deleting that bit here and apply that. And then we can run the simulation and we can find that it's allowed, right? Now, we can also test to see if this role has access to the correct API. So what we can do here is we can go to API gateway, right? And then we'll just click invoke like this. So we'll run the simulation here, and we see it fails as we expected. And then all we need to do is just copy this in like this and see if this policy file is going to work. So it's allowed. So this shows us that our roles here is nothing wrong with it, right? We're okay, we're happy dandy. Now there's another thing that it can go quite wrong in this application. Like, so for example, so other things that can go wrong is in the application quite easily is, for example, if you go into your federated identities, then if you just have the wrong pool ID in here or app client ID, then nothing will work, right? Because things won't be authenticated. So you really have to be able to, write all these things down very carefully and keep track of them. That's pretty much the only way that this stuff's going to work. So once you basically have all these things written down well and all wired up, then you're good to go. And we're going to, in the next video, we'll basically cover the React app, which is, to be honest, things get a bit more simple, I think, after we've done all this stuff here. Sorry, after all the this was the hard bit, in my opinion. So we're going to cover the React app next. And there are some complicated bits that we'll get into, but yeah. So thanks, guys, and see you next time. Bye.